writer, educator, and cultural worker. She performs, does production work, stage management, graphic design, writing, and project coordination for various arts groups. A theater alumna of the Philippine High School for the Arts, her interest in culture and anthropology led her to pursue an AD in Social Sciences, minor in Cultural Heritage here at the ADMU, where she graduated as cum laude and program awardee. As a performer, she has worked with theater companies such as Tanghalang Pilipino, Philippine Educational Theater Association or PETA, and Sipat Lawin Ensemble, to name a few. As a stage manager, her biggest project has been Teatro Porvenir, a joint endeavor of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts and Bohol's Leong and is a community theater initiative to creatively transform a cockpit into a cultural center. Her various involvements as segment producer for GMA News TV's investigative documentaries, as technical assistant for the Canadian International Development Agency, and as PR consultant for the PETA Theatre Center, have further honed her skills in investigative journalism, the development sector, and events management, which she has successfully endeavored to integrate into her arts practice. Let us all give a warm welcome to this inspiring young artist, educator, and cultural worker who dreams to see the revitalization of local community-based theater geared towards theater for development. Ladies and gentlemen, our commencement speaker, Ms. Amia Ceres Ruiz.
Hello, good afternoon. As of the time I got this invite, until now I have been recovering from several heartaches. Number one, hirap nung isang project na pinanggalingan ko 2 months ago. Number two, I've had to give up an apartment I've been keeping since 2011 at big deal yung para sa ating mga 20-somethings because I'm also heartbroken and broken. So, number three, sabi sa akin yung jowa ko, kamakailan lang, as in within this week. According sa kanya, you could do better with the choices I've been doing sa aking career. So, obviously, hindi na kami. Ako po si Amia Ruiz, at ako ay isang Filipina cultural worker. Andito po ako kasi sabi sa akin, kailangan daw nakaka-relate po yung mga graduates na pinagdadaktak ng tao na dito. Because our world is becoming increasingly insecure and unstable and tiyanan. Andito po ako. I am not a role model. I am a cultural worker, and as part of that, I am a storyteller. And all I have to give you now are stories, the truth, and things na hindi nyo pag-usapan, the facts according sa usapang pera. Magkano talaga kinikita ng isang taong ganito yung ginagawa. Yun yung tinatanong natin sa sarili natin. Tinatanong ng mga magulang natin, ano makikita mo dyan, anak? So, I'll give you the facts. Kasi ito yung pagpupulong-pulungan nyo pag nag-job application na kayo. Uy, mas muna mo expected sa akin. Okay ba? Kaya ano mo yun? So, let's just do it. Let's say it outright. So, you want to bring out your calculators and cell phones nyo? Go ahead. I'll give you an insight as to what it's been like for me as a 1-year practitioner sa ADMU TV, 1 year sa development sector sa Bohol, nakabase ako, 2 years bilang freelance artist for advocacy. So let's start. Kung gano'n, yung una kong trabaho right after graduation, 2011, was a researcher sa GMA News TV. 12,000 yun a month, minus tax. So, sumasailain ako, transcriber, translator, etc. But 6 months after ako sa magulang ko, and it was fine. I traveled all over the Philippines. I met so many people, and it was the best bunch of people I've ever worked with. Kasi nga ang hirap ng trabaho namin, wala na kaming time makipag-drama sa isa't isa. Just get the work done because everyone needs to hear the news now. In like 2 minutes, give me, you know. So, and this is what I learned. Bilang researcher, kayo naghahanap ng case study, sino ba yung nalaman ng TV? Kunyari, sabihin sa akin, Pantawid Pamilya Filipino Program, Conditional Cash Transfer. Amihan, sabi sa akin ng producer ko, hanap ka naman ng babae na mahirap na tumatanggap ng ganong conditional cash transfer mula sa DSWD. Siya yung case study natin. So, punta ako sa Tondo, nakipag-contact ako sa mga NGOs na kakilala ko, nasa downside ako sa Road 6. Balik ako sa producer ko, ate, ito po yung mga nakita ko, ito po yung si Aling ganito, ito po si Manang ganyan. Tapos sabi niya sa akin, kailangan kasi natin mas comparing, wala ba dyan mas nakalito? Guys, as if it wasn't difficult enough to live in a downside, walang salig, basura mga Mars. But, that's what it takes nowadays, apparently. The truth is not enough. It has to be compelling. And I think it's also because it's so much easier now than before to be self-centered. So, for a year, yun yung trabaho ko, finding compelling truths, compelling case studies, and holding back sa amin, huwag kayo makialam. You're just bringing the news. You're not social workers. And I didn't know if that was enough. So, naging segment producer ako in 6 months, and I think that's quite a feat because in my first 6 months, aling yung natanggal. Aling yung natanggal, nag-resign from all levels, from segment producer, transcriber, PA. Ang hirap kasi. Pero, let me tell you this, it was all worth it. When I went to my first time to go out of the country in Singapore on my 12,000 a month salary, yaman ko, diba? I met some Ateneo batchmates. And they were Procter & Gamble employees, and they were raking it in 80 kyao a month. And I was just crying all the way home to the Philippines. And I worked so hard, transcribing, translating, maka-survivor, maka-biyahe ni Drew, etc. Tumatabo na ako ng 30 by the time I resigned there, 30K a month. Pero walang ligo-ligo yun, yung suot ko ng Monday, yun din yung jacket ko ng Wednesday. At akala talaga na magulang ko, mga party-party ako sa kung saan-saan. Pero kasi walang tulugan, meron kaming sleeping bag sa ilalim ng desk. But that's what that job taught me, the compelling truth. Whatever it is that inspired you to do what you're doing now, what you're studying now, it's harder to show it to the world. It has to be more compelling. It has to be more creative. So I thought, swerte na rin ako. I got this call in October. Sabi nila, it was a job for the local government support program of local economic development. A joint partnership of the DILG and the Canadian International Development Agency. And one field work was to do it in Bohol. Sabi, no-offer pa nga ako ng unang office job sa DILG Manila. Sabi ko, please, wag po. Ako yung ako siguro. Please. And that's what I did. At pagpunta ko doon, no friends, no family. Yung pamasahe ko, nakakala ko 20 pesos everyday, 8 pesos lang pala. Kasi mukha akong mistisa na nagtatagalog. But I will learn my way around that. And you know what? The cost of living is pretty cheap, probinsya yun. And the salary was really good. 150 per day, no tax, mga 28K a month. Ay yung cost of living ko sa Manila with 12K, di ba GMA, Mr. Researcher, 12. Yung cost of living ko, 13 per month. So, nung sa Bohol ako, kuripot pa rin ako, mega stupidity. Kahit na pumapalo na ako ng 28 per month or so, ang baba ng cost of living doon, I was so comfortable na with just the 13. Nag-ano na ako, nag-dragon boat, na tumatakbo, na babakasyon na ako sa Camiguin. Ganun pa lang. So, it was fun. But, sabi ko, shucks, pero pretty exciting. Now, pwede na ako umaksyon. Pag nakarinig ako ng ate, tulungan niyo po kami. Now, pwede ko sabihin, sige po, ano po pwede natin gawin? Kaya lang merong pagkukulang doon sa project na yun eh. And let me demonstrate it. It's just quite basic. Yung field officer ko, taga Cagayan de Oro, ako taga Maynila. Ang susubukan namin i-serve na NGO was sa Panglao, Dawes, Baclayon, Bohol Marine Triangle. At ang gusto nila mangyari, magkasundo yung tourism sector, yung mga businessmen, yung DILG at yung mga mayor, para hindi magulo, kumuha ng business at madaling ma-monitor kung gano'n na napapangalagaan yung environment. So, every once in a while, from Bohol, we have to fly in to Manila. And so the field officers there from South Cotabato, Leyte, Visaya, etc., mga taga-Bicol, would have to report to our Manila boss, who was a PhD in tourism somewhere. You know what? It was quite difficult because these Manila bosses were snickering at the side. Kesha, it's not being pronounced the right way. Ang in-English nila, taro, etc., etc. So, for example, Mr. po, I'm a writer, performer, or cultural worker. Oh my God, cultural worker is a worker, right? What I'm saying is, this is what I learned. If you want to really empower anyone, isakin sa panan. Kinahanglan, you need to learn their language. Kinahanglan mo hatagan ng value. You have to give value to the way they have made meaning all throughout their lives. Di ka na pwede na nagiging ka sa gawa, di pa rin galing ka sa labas, papasok ka doon, and you assume the way it works for you, kung saan mo masakta na mabutang, the way that you understand things is the way that they'll figure it out also. Like for example, yung Manila boss ko said, no, you should have focus group discussion among the tourism sector so that we know what their issues are. And then our NGO said, naku, hindi pwede madala yan kahit si ingani-ingan na kapatid ni Mayor, this and that, all these political and social things na parang hindi cool mag-focus group discussion. People are afraid to talk in front of one another. Let's do it through a survey. And that has been a discussion since April 2012 that I got there. The only time it was implemented as a survey was around March 2013. So, hirap. So, this is the second thing I would like to give you guys. It's a compelling tool. Learn as many languages and all the languages as possible. Especially ng mga taong sinutulungan. At hindi lang language as in ibang Filipino language o ibang international language. As in, pati nito lang yung pag-explore ng kabaikihan, ganyan. Kung gusto nyo talagang makimasa. Kung gusto nyo may eye service award to everyone else, hindi kailangan, gets nyo yung salitang vice ganda, yung salitang jeep. Ibang lingwahe din yun eh. At it empowers us also. It gives respect to diversity. Speaking of diversity. So after that, tapos na yung kontrata ko, the thing I took away from Bohol the most, kasi diba nga the project wasn't working so well, imbis na storyteller, kaya matuto talaga mag-Bisaya eh. I was a storyteller. I was going around like motorcycle, going to LGUs, stakeholders, and saying, "Hi ma'am, sorry kaayo ha, kasi we can't download yet the funds eh, kasi ingon si program manager nga na at you have to change the program and change the proposal." I learned to say it in so many ways, in all the fiestas, birthday, libing, kasal, plenary, blah, blah, blah. And so because I was so guilty, na parang what am I earning all this money for? I'm not making a change. Sumali ko sa lahat ng posibleng social civic things. So, nagtumulong ako sa isang Tanghal 7, an MCCA Theater Festival for the Visayas Region, Likha-Diwa, Creative Industries Conference. Southeast Asia yung mga tao. Sumali ako sa Daganista de Bohol. It was a running group. Kaya, yung kami nag-long distance run for charity, this and that. Pero yung pinakamagandang takeaway ko is when I joined the local dragon boating team, kasi gusto lang sa mga stakeholders namin magkaroon ng dragon boating program sa kanilang strait. It was gorgeous. So, naging team manager ako kasi may visa ako kulo. At ako lang siguro yung college graduates sa teammates ko who were all karpintero, mangingisda, kamite, construction worker, buwis ni Mayor. It was hard, huh? 4 girls, team of 12, at ang mamacho nila. Wow. And the language barrier. And that's what I realized. when I was talking about, so, Mila, nasa pagkibuhat mo sa Manila, anong ginagawa mo doon? Trabaho for the news, umaate, ganyan, cultural worker. What does that mean? It went on, and then I realized, hindi kami nagkakaintindihan. Hindi ko naiintindihan yung sinasabi mong pinagmamalaki kong mga tao gusto kong pagsilbihan at di rin nila ako nagegets. There's something. So after my contract in Manila, back to Manila, I went to the Philippine Educational Theater Association kasi sabi ko, I'm a person, I want to work with people, community, PETA, go! So first job there was a public relations officer events. Not theater, I thought. For 6 months, the door, 7,000 a month, okay. Back to my Ligas apartment. Mayroon lang bunk bed, roommate, so 3,000. And more or less, yung cost of living ko doon, tumaas ng cost of living in general. Mga 15, kasi kinikita kasi. Okay lang, sige. I got into it, then I resigned. I told my boss, very nicely. I went here educational part of PETA. If you don't know, rarakin sa ibang department. Wala nila po. Pinag- nila ako. Mula noon, 2013, 2014 I was so busy. Guys, work maraming paraan. Wow, hindi ko na paraan. Maraming kailangan sa iba-ibang work and services. Na ang dalawa bilang person sa PETA mag-graphic, Photoshop ako, sa kung graphic. 2 years trabaho ko, siguro sabay pero naman na under coordinates, graphic, social management, production of facility, coordinate, diet, exchange, program, medyo actually sabihin natin so bad. And the best part for us, nakakasawin na, yung ano, is the close. And the province, Manila, so awesome. Ito na yung I'm thinking of what from some actually wala kang costume, so naglilibre lang ako ng sabi costume. And so on and so forth. So what I'm saying is, ito yung pinaka nataranta ko. Kasi, pagpunta ko dun sa Bohol in December, nakabook na yung return flight ko January 26. Kasi sa February meron akong training, commitment akong iba. Pero dahil push yung show, inevitably uuwi ako bago mag-show. And a stage manager leaving her show is like a captain jumping out of a ship. I just don't do it. So I said, okay, naglabas ako sa sarili kong pera, went home 26, went back 28, did the show 31, went back February 1, did the show February 3, 4, 5, and I was hoping with all my might, because I had gotten so in love with the kids there, and na sana, sabi ko, kaya po ba ng powers niyo, sir? Sabi ko sa director na i-fly in po ako pabalik. Gusto ko po talagang tapusin. Gusto ko pong matapos yung run. Gagawa po kami ng mga kids ng production book. I-document po natin ng maayos talaga. Hindi siya nangyari. And hindi siya nangyari hanggang sa natapos na yung buong run for that month. At hindi pa rin ako pinababalik. At iniiyakan ko kasi nag-text sa akin yung mga bata, Kesyo. Nay, yung lasang ako sa stage, yung tako sa stage na hindi naalis, ganyan sugatan. Nay, grabe, nag-rehearse kami hanggang alas 11. Sa Bohol, 7 o'clock wala ng public transport. So, peligro de ora na by 9 at mega peligro de ora na by 11 and further down the line. And it was the first time as a stage manager that I realized how cruel efficiency in the beginning avoids cruelty in everyday practice. Like, feeling ko lang naman, kung napagplanuhan siya na mas maayos, hindi sana ako nagsusorry sa maraming bata, sa nanay ng mga maraming bata, Kesyo, nag-flunk sila sa school dahil nalapaw sila ng 11. Kesyo nagkakasakit na yung mga stage manager, pero out of 6 trainees, I had 1 left. Natutunan ko sa PETA, to diversity is to survive. Talagang do everything in the name of the cause and learn everything, and you will survive. Pero sa Bohol, practice, practice, practice. If you have a fantastic vision, you have to be able to practice it in the most mundane and everyday scenarios. Kung naniniwala ka na gusto mo magkaroon ng great artistic collective para pahalagahan ng sambayanan ang mga alagad ng sining, pauwiin mo sila ng maaga. Bili tayong tinapay para hindi kasi sila nakakapag-dinner pag nag-rehearse ng 6 after school, 5:30, 7 o'clock silang natapos, diretso ka nag-rehearse na. Ganun eh. And that's actually the more difficult part, no? We have all these great ideas and sometimes putting them into the most mundane practical applications is the challenge. Kaya, kung may idea tayo na dapat transparent ang gobyerno tungkol sa pera, ito na, I'm gonna be clear about the money. And hopefully, if friends ask you about how much something is, how much you're making, well, just answer it point blank. Because, so, after all of this, after that whole Bohol escapade, February 14 yung last show nila. From February 14 onwards, 2 weeks, I was so depressed. Nagpunong ako sa apartment, yung 2 mundo. Kasi hindi ko talaga na kinita yung ginastos ko. Naminis ko yung mga kids ko. At feeling ko talaga, malay ko ba, kung may kwenta ba talaga yung pinagkagawa ko. May ganong sense. It was so exhausting na it's just very recently I've gotten my bearings. So why? Why bother? Why get into this kind of work? Even if I could do better, you know. My dad is gonna represent the Philippines sa Venice Biennial, the supposed Olympics of Visual Arts, this April. And the last time that there was a Filipino in that event was 50 years ago. But when he has to go get his Italian visa, he has had to go there 4 times. Excruciatingly humiliated every time. and all of his other crew, and I'm part of the crew also, have gone to the same experience. And one time, may isa pa nga doon kasama sa crew namin ng mga kapwa-artist din. Sabi, you are an artist, can you draw? And he was told to draw on the spot. I am a dual citizen. My mom, supposedly, nakisiksik siya sa charity ward ng UC Irvine, California Hospital or something to that effect. Katabi ng mga Mexicano na across the border na buntis na nabaril because they had to get there and make their children American. So I was part of that. And me, heartbroken, broke, unstable, insecure, 24-year-old, I don't need to show a visa. I can just la-di-da myself into Italy. While my father and the rest of his crew, and probably a lot of us who have Filipino passports, can't. So, kakainis ako. So, that's why I want to do cultural work. Kasi feeling ko, if we do cultural work, we are investing in the self-esteem of our people. Kumbaga sa Inception, yung pinwheel na nahanap nila, yun eh. That's the main kultura yun, yung pinwheel na yun. Kung hinukay mo yung bawat panaginip ng isang bansa, yung pinwheel na yun yung kultura nila. Cultural work ang humuhubog sa kung ano man ang kahulugan. While science, technology, and business tells us how things work and how we can make it work the way we want it to, culture is what shapes those interests. Culture na nagsasabi, ito gusto ko, this is what I will live for. Culture ang sumasagot ng bakit, nga naman magbubuhat pa ka. Kaya sa ganitong kalagayan, clingy talaga eh. Yung development sector at yung cultural sector, because the cultural sector tells us what do we want. Kapit po ang kalagayan ng buhay ng isang tao sa kakayanan niyang makalikha at makadanas ng kultura at sining na nagbibigay kahulugan at kaganapan sa kanyang buhay. And also, I'm thinking, here I am, some dual citizen Americana, mestiza, may sariling apartment, and I'm so insecure. What about the kids that I let into my apartment? There's this one kid, si Chuchay. Naawa ako sa kanya kasi she ran to my apartment. Bukas lang kasi yung pinto ko. And she said, inaasam daw siyang patay dito. Meron na sa gitna ng Krus na Ligas. Pugbalik mo kami lahat doon. So, parang, gaano pa ba ka lugmok yung self-esteem niya? At ako, who was doing fairly well, would also find myself in bouts of insecurity. So it's not just an economic thing, ano? And I was thinking, this is what we want to not happen. Hopefully, through our cultural work. Hopefully, kahit mahirap kumuha ng visa sa Italy, mahirap magtrabaho, mahirap kumita, hopefully we can say, okay lang, Pilipino ako. And that's enough. It will motivate me to make things better. So that's what I want to tell you. Learn the language. Learn as many languages as you can. Diversify. Practice, practice, practice those great ideas in the most everyday and the most corny and mundane of situations. Great innovation comes from learning from risk and failure. So YOLO, make those risks and failures now. Kasi swerte tayo, we can afford to fail. Fail quick and recover even quicker. And not everyone has that privilege. So, take the risk, join that startup, try to do that community development project, I don't know. Choose the less glamorous option and break your heart some more. Because that's the only way we get wiser, and we need to get wiser soon. There's so much that needs to be done. So So, bilang pagtatapos, dear Ateneo, salamat sa pakikinig sa aking kwento ng pagkabigo. Naway may napulot kayong aral mula dito. Kayong mga sasabak pa lang sa mundo ng pagmamahal sa kapwa, sa bansa, sa kultura. Nagsisimula pa lamang ang inyong landas. Ang landas na inyong tatahaking pagaman, punong-puno ng pangalit at walang kapanatagan sa daan. Padayon lang, mga kaigsuunan. Taas noong rumampa, madapat, bumangon mula sa bawat pagkakabigo, patungo sa pag-ibig. Gugma pa more, pag-ibig pa more. Nagmamahal, nagpatuloy na lumarang. Amen.
Daghang sa